Russell, could you just tell us what the Adventure Travel Trade Association is, how you got started, and where you are physically in the world right now?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Russell Walters. I am the Regional Director North America for the ATTA, Adventure Travel Trade Association. I'm calling in from Maine in the Northeast, and the ATTA is a global organization of some 30,000 people that are involved in adventure travel, people that are tour operators, probably like some of yourselves, media, DMOs, provinces, states, country departments of tourism that all work together and attend events and use networking and education to basically professionalize the industry of outdoor adventure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something called what we call the snapshot survey. This was a survey of information that was gathered in from 23 and launched in the fall of 2024. It's If I was to go through the whole survey, we're talking 90 minutes. We're going to do it in 10. So buckle up, hang on, and we'll go through this as best we can. A quick definition. What I wanted to do is give a definition of what we think about when we think about in the Adventure Travel Trade Association, adventure travel. Adventure travel is the summation of activity and nature. Activity and nature is really just recreation. But when you add in culture, cultural elements could be as deep as the indigenous culture. It could be just local crafts. It could be local foods, local beers. When we add in the cultural element, that's where we get the richness that is the adventure travel space, at the heart of the adventure travel space. So the part one, I'm just going to give a quick update on the tour operator profile, staffing, and guest numbers. So this survey was developed, as you can see, from inputs from around the globe, most of them North America and Europe, and then some South America, with a smattering of the rest of the globe. These are our organization. The information coming from essentially three almost equal buckets: outbound and inbound tour operators, suppliers, those people offering the trips, and outbound people, the buyers. So in really three different types. And from these companies, we can see that just a shout to the ladies and the women on the call. 83% of the companies that were interviewed had women in executive or managerial leadership roles. So the idea that this is a male-dominated domain is far from the truth. And the median guest to guide ratio, 1.1 guest to six to one guide to six guests. So we're talking about small group travel here. We're talking about what we call high value, low volume travel. The ages of the members that we surveyed, the people that are in our organization, you can see there's a smattering, the 35 to 64, but the core is right there in the 45s to 64-year-old age ranges. These are the people with money and with some time. And you can see the different guest profiles in this too. Groups, families, couples, and as it says at the top of the thing, Africa. Most guests were couples coming in couples. Africa was popular with solo travelers. Middle East, Africa, and Asia were more popular for groups. So I'm giving you a profile of the type of travel that these folks are engaging in. The gender mix of people that were interviewed and that are involved in this snapshot survey, 53% female of all guests. So just a few snippets on how do tour operators in America, who are they reaching out to, and how are they marketing themselves? So clearly, families are a big part of the mix here. Women, travelers age 50 and over, make up a large proportion of this market that we're talking about. How do tour operators market themselves? Maybe no surprise to anybody, 80% of those that were interviewed, those that were surveyed, 80% of them said word of mouth was an important marketing tactic, followed surprisingly by email. I find email different around the world. Bear in mind that this was a North American centric audience, a lot of it. So email is probably more popular than in other regions of the world, but it maintain it's a very convenient way and very still popular and consistent way to communicate with your guests. And then this is a piece here on what sort of popular online booking platforms some of our members or the members that were polled are using. And you can see TripAdvisor, Viator, WeTravel, Facebook Tour Radar, Booking.com. And all of this we're going to share. Just as going to allow us to share this information to anybody that signed up after the fails. I'll share the whole report so you can dig into it on your own pieces. This is probably why you're here to think about the hot, trending, high demand trips. I think Christopher said it, custom itineraries. That's the number one piece that people are looking for. Soft adventures, remote destinations, culinary, electric bike. That's the first time we've seen electric bike itineraries come into the top 10 of our survey. Motivations. Why are people doing this adventure travel? They want new experiences. They want to go off the beaten track, to travel like a local. Cultural encounters, wellness, and top trending activities. For the audiences that we surveyed, those that responded, hiking, trekking, walking, culinary, gastronomy, cultural again, safaris and wildlife viewing. And again, you're seeing this cycling electric bikes. And so the primary activities, most popular trips of 2023, hiking, walking, cultural, cycling, safaris, cycling again with electric. And just a little, this is how these things change across the globe. And I'll point out a couple of different things. So for companies that were headquartered in North America, the number one activity that their guests want to do is safaris and wildlife viewing, not necessarily in North America, all around the globe. Number two is hiking, trekking. The number five is cycling with electric bikes. If you flip the script and look at Europe, the number one activity that companies that are headquartered in Europe, their number one activity that they're selling to their guests is cycling electric bikes. So you see this sort of matrix of how things change across the landscape. Culinary, cultural, they show up in all of these, but just in different places in the matrix. And just to keep us on time and keep us focused, this was from a 2023 and 2024. What I guess you could call it the health, the pulse of the industry. What were people thinking about in terms of their net profit outlooks compared to 2023? So in 2024, people were reporting a pretty healthy that they thought that not that they would be up but that they would be that the 66% of people thought that their numbers would be up. They weren't up by 66%, but 66% of the tour operators and the members that we interviewed thought that they would have a better year in 2024 than in 2023. And 67 compared to pre-COVID levels. So that strong rebound that we've all heard about, we all talk about, we're seeing in active and nature and adventure. 67% of our members that were that chose to complete the survey reported a healthy increase or an increase over and above what they saw in pre-pandemic levels. So that's it. Real quick snapshot. Some trends that we were able to actually pull together.
The Adventure Travel Trade Association leads a lot of really great programs. They're going to be in Denver if anyone's traveling into the US in May. They'll be running their Elevate program as well as the outside festivals happening at that time. Really fun program. But Russell, can you tell us a little about your side gig? You also provide adventure for people if anyone's going up to Maine.
I do. Thanks for the plug. I do. I happen. So many of us in the ATTA have one foot in the sort of the association sort of consulting world, and then my other foot is I own an adventure resort and a lodge in Maine in the sort of inland Maine, in the rural areas of Maine, northern outdoors, and we operate year round, snowmobiling in the winter, rafting, hiking, fishing in the summer. So if you happen to make it to the Northeast, please check that out, and we'd love to see you.